Okay, I'm gonna do a video this morning. We're gonna do some shipping. We're gonna do some reviewing of the sales that we had on eBay. And I actually pulled all the orders, so there's not gonna be any walking back and forth. I'm trying to like make these videos better and better as I go. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with some videos. And I got my mic on, so that's good. So we're gonna start off with shipping a pair of shoes or boots, and these were order value $25.97, and I figured out what's going on. My eBay is actually set to send automatic offers, and what's happening is I need to change that because I'm selling these shoes for less than what I need to be selling them for, and so it's turning into a disaster with that. So let's go ahead and get started, and then later on I'm going to take a look at how these listings are set up and try to remove that auto offer option. So yeah, so I put some paper in there to make it so it doesn't move around. We use the Mylars for the shoes and pretty much everything, and it becomes a little bit sloppy. I use a lot of tape, as you saw in my other video, but I'm gonna fly through these and see if we can get all this finished up before the next employee comes in. We are closed today to the public, so that gives us a time to kind of regroup for the week and have ourselves some time to think about what kind of sales we can do. Sales over the weekend weren't that bad. We did get in the store, we did get 2 out of the 3, so Friday, Saturday were good days. Sunday was not a good day. Sunday did not help. We had a lot of transactions, but we had a very, very low dollar average sale per, or average price per sale, and I'll go over that too, just to show you guys. This last week's sale for the eBay did not do as well as it has been doing, so we're kind of tapering off. Usually this morning we have over the weekend probably like 50 orders or so, maybe 60. I think we packed up like 35, and then today I have like what, 16. So usually it's 60 or so, but we're kind of short on that, and then a lot of low dollar stuff. So I'll go ahead and weigh this. Oh. Okay, 4.1. Another thing that happened on the 16th, USPS raised the rates, and we did not make any changes to our eBay. We actually made it cheaper. So we need to figure that out, because I can't see myself continuing with the rates that we're giving people with the inventory. But then again, you start messing with pricing, then you get yourself out of the buy box, and then you start getting even less sales. So it's a balance that you need to figure out, and you need to watch out whenever you see something with like the post office changing rates. You need to watch out for that. You need to adjust. In our case, we did not. Okay, so we got the maroon, this one right here. Yeah, I pulled all these orders because I didn't want to spare you guys the dead air. And today we actually didn't have any issues with finding everything. Everything was where it needed to be. It was smooth sailing. So, all right, so this is a little bit too small. Most of the time, these bigger, was this like 15 by 19 or something? These are best for shoes, unless it's like a smaller size. These Mylars are really good because you can cut them and wrap them around boxes. I don't like to send bare boxes out. I like to either cover it with more cardboard or cover it with a Mylar because I don't like my item. A lot of people ship in original packaging. So let's say you bought like a heater. They'll ship it in the heater box. I don't do that. First I'll stuff it with paper, make it tight so it doesn't rattle around. I don't like my packages rattling around when they're moving because what it does is it creates a different weight when it bounces around, and then if somebody grabs it the wrong way, it could flop out of their hand and fly somewhere. And then if it's a fragile item, it could get broken. So there's a reason why I make my items tight, because I don't like dealing with me taking the time to pack something up and then basically somebody dropping it and breaking it. So 1.9. Oh, I forgot to tell you on the last one, shipping was like 11.40. So it was like a $25 sale. And I only netted like well, after fees and everything, I can check it, but we'll check it here in a second. So this one is going to Puerto Rico. It's a $57.98 order value, and it looks like we're going to be paying $11.50 for shipping. Now, with all these shipments that go pretty far, I want to figure out some way to put like additional handling on it. But then when you do that, then you got to worry about you getting out of the buy box, because what's happening is my items are actually becoming even more cheaper when it's going a further distance because I'm not adjusting anything. So I got to figure that out because I'm giving a lot of this inventory away. But again, it's like, okay, if you start messing with adding fees on because of shipping, are you going to lose? Because there's a lot of people that don't do free shipping and they swear by it. But I think for me, when somebody looks at my item on eBay in the list, I think that there's like a visual satisfaction of seeing free shipping versus calculated shipping. The only thing about that is no matter what, I mean, you're getting charged on fees anyway. But if you run into a problem where you got to return something, even though we don't have returns, we do get forced to return things quite a few times because the customer will select the wrong reason, forcing us to return the item. So, but if you put the shipping charges on there and then somebody goes to return something, you do have an option, depending on how that item comes back, to give them a partial refund. And that would be the only reason why I would go ahead and change that into my mix. But I think for right now we're gonna leave everything as it is because my sales are not as good as I want them to be anyway. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to be creating any more bumps between the customer purchasing from me or purchasing from somewhere else. So that's one thing to consider when you're doing eBay. Stick with something that works for you. Try out different ways, and then if you see one way working the other, which with me it's free shipping. Free shipping works better. Okay, so this one $5.41 ship. Order value is $30.02. So that one wasn't bad. And what happens too is the law of averages. A lot of my packages that ship out, sometimes I spend a little bit more on the shipping. Sometimes another item will sell for more than what I thought it was going to sell for, which makes up. So I just go by the law of average with eBay, And I hope at the end of the day it works itself out where we make what we need to be making. And most of the time I don't really lose, except for the ones that get right at cost after everything. But then again, what I would rather have is a sale than and the capital leaving or coming back, than the item staying and just sitting on the capital. So if that makes sense, because you got to really think about your business, what works for you. I've been doing eBay for a very long time, so when I got back into it, there wasn't a lot that I had to figure out. I just basically started where I left off with my items. And I think if I would have never brought eBay back into the mix, I think we would have been in a lot more trouble earlier than we are now. So eBay, with the sales, it did get us back to a point where it's not manageable, but at least it's keeping us going. And thriving is where you want to be. And right now we feel like we're just we're skating by with luck. I wouldn't even call this. I would call this anything but the way it's supposed to be. All right, so I took 2 Mylars, I put them together. This has got like a little indent, like I said before. I like to tape that up. This one I'm just gonna leave it how it is. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do the sides, because then you got to make it as tight as you can. Then you don't waste on your sizing. Okay, so 1.11. This is going to Oklahoma. 14.6.5. And some would ask, why isn't the measurements already in there? It's just the way it is. When they do the listings, I told them free shipping, so don't worry about it. My whole thing with my listers is I just need them to just keep moving and post all the listings. Let me just go to something real quick here. So right now we have let's see. I'm gonna go and just tell you guys what's on deck for my inventory. All right, so active listings, and this is including quantity zeros, so I do have to go and adjust those. Active listings, I have 2373 listings. I have quantity of 5904, and then I have with the sales that I'm running, potential of $222,153.29 of sales. If all that happened at once, we would be in a situation where 2,300 items would be sold at quantity 5904. Now, that's like the perfect storm. That's never going to happen. But if I can figure out a way to capture 10% of what's in there a month, that would actually bring my average higher than I'm doing now. And that would be a good number to start like working off of. Because in reality, eBay for me, I would hope at some point we can be doing like $30,000 a month gross, and that would, if we can get $30,000 a month in gross, I believe that would be a good number to have. Even with our retail sales, that would actually put us in a position every month where we're not scared in the beginning. Because remember, I think this month, we're at like 16,000, but I'll check that in a second. month to date. Before any fees, before any shipping. I basically think that shipping is about half. What I've been seeing is mostly half unless a heavy hitter hits. And then the fees and everything, we're not at the threshold yet where we have to worry about paying extra because of mistakes made, but I'll show you that too because we did take a pretty big hit last weekend. So let me finish up packing up this one. I'm going to do bubbles. I'm also going to do paper. Because this is not in a box, what I like to do is I like to protect my item, so, and use a lot of tape. I'm not purposely burning through tape here, just so you know. It's just the way that I pack. Some people have their own ways that save tape. My way does not. My way burns a lot of tape. Okay, so we got some air. Now this probably will fill back up, but I just like to squish it a little bit. Okay, so 12 ounces. Okay, so this one is going to Alabama. 25.13 is the sell price or gross. So we got 13.94. Okay, so $5.60 to ship this. So what we'll do is we'll put the label over this little bump here to give it another added layer of protection. I know it's just a piece of paper, but it does make a difference. All right, so after we're done packing up, I'll go ahead and go into numbers. All right, so next we have perfume. So this one right here, we got a lot of these, and I figured out the price that they sell at. So they're very consistent. And what I do with these is I roll them in bubbles. Then I cover with cardboard. And then you do have to mark these in the shipping as a perfume. So that puts the little hazard symbol on it. So what you can do is you can just take like a piece of cardboard, do something like this. I know this adds weight, but I'd rather add weight than have somebody receive a busted. Oh, look at this. So this box right here can be used, but let's get a little bit more. Let's get a little bit more cardboard on that. Okay. And I'm just basically covering the top and the bottom. And then this will just go right into this box. It's a very, very sturdy way of doing perfumes. But I do notice that it's a little bit thin cardboard, but that's fine because the inside contents are pretty well protected. All I got to do is just make sure that the box doesn't pop apart. So again, I'm going to throw some tape on there and just kind of just give it a little bit more. All right, so this guy is 12 ounces. Gross is $24.88. And then the size of the package, 753, $5.41. So not bad. I believe with these we are, we're making okay margin on it. But the thing with those is there's so many of them. You have to play the get your money back game and not necessarily worry about capturing the most return that you can, because in reselling it's better to get something than get nothing. All right, so we got these broom heads, all surface broom heads. We got somebody bought 2 of them. They're brand new. So in this case, we'll probably just individually wrap them. I'm not going to do too much on it. I just want to just make it so they have something on them. And then what we'll do is we'll connect them together. See, if you roll it at the end, it gives it a little bit more than just folding it. So what do you guys think about my packing so far? You think that I'm wasting all my materials, or you think that I'm doing a better service for my customers with, putting more care into the package? And just seeing what you saw so far, I mean, would you buy from me knowing that my items will be cared, my items that I pack up will be cared for? I mean, I'm not trying to get sales from anybody on these videos. What I'm trying to do is just show disasters with the discount store. I know that we got the e-commerce in this part, but it is kind of disastrous because we don't know if we're setting up our eBay store properly with the new changes that went in effect. All right, so now we have this oddball size here. Now we have to kind of figure out a box. Got this Amazon box here because we do have a lot of supplies that come in. Yeah, it's too big. I don't think I'm gonna find an exact fit for these brooms. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about wrapping them with cardboard and just putting them in the Mylar and calling it a day. So why don't we just, well, there's a box right here. Let's see if this is okay. So this one will work. So what we'll do is we'll cut this in half right down the middle, and we're gonna basically just make do with what we got. And I'll show you a little trick. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows this, how to slim down a box. This is a really dull blade. Be careful with that. Dull blades is dangerous because when you're trying to cut something and it gets stuck, all it's got to do is catch it the wrong way, and then you got yourself a cut. Depends on how safe you are with your knives. All right, so we're gonna do, this fits actually perfect. It's a little bit big. What we can do is cut it down again and then stick the other one on top of it. So what we'll do is we'll take, first of all, we'll fix this blade. It's dull, both sides. Oh, that one's used. All right, what's going on here? No backup blades. What's this one? That one's used. You like the beeping? It's the most annoying thing ever. All right, so we're just gonna kind of pull it back a little bit and just kind of go all the way around it. And then we're gonna cut down the other one and we're gonna slide it right on top of that, and it should be a pretty clean packing job. But you see the difference between regular items and clothes and shoes. This package requires more packing time. So whenever you're choosing your items, take that in effect too. Don't buy a lot of stuff that requires a lot of time packing, because then you may be making a little bit more, but what could be happening is you're spending more time than you could be spending with something else. And then if you're watching this video and kind of wondering what I'm talking about, just look at when I get to my clothing, how fast those pack up. And I mean, granted, this order value was 5140. So I mean, does that mean that the time that I'm taking to pack this is okay because I made more? Well, it really depends on how much you paid for the item. This is from our home improvement store that we buy from. That's like an outdoor load that they come in. So what happens is you'll maybe get like a couple patio sets. If you're lucky, you'll get a couple grills, and then if you're even more lucky, you'll get stuff that is actually complete, and you can sell and get the money that you thought you're going to get on the load. But what's been happening with these buys that I've been doing is the heavy hitters that were supposed to pay for the load are not paying for the load. What's happening is the high quantity of smaller items that come in the loads are where I'm making my money back. And when you figure if a truckload has let's say 300 items, let's say that the top 10 that you saw on the manifest was really what you were in it, in buying the load for, and then those items come back bad. Well, now you got all these little guys in the shipment that need to be paying for the load to get your money back. Well, the problem is those little guys, you're not the only one having access to it. Everybody else is buying the same type of inventory. So what that means is the market's getting flooded. When the market gets flooded, everybody races to the bottom. And then when that happens, even the amount that you thought that you're going to make on the smalls, on the load, even that gets taken away. So then what happens is these loads become long tail. Long tail is basically when you buy an item and it just sits until it sells, and then you have to take a little time figuring out the buy box, because like I said, everybody's got it. And some of these amateur resellers, that not amateur, but like, what I'm saying, like new, and they don't really know how the world really works with the reselling, and where to, they're just jumping for the sale. They don't care what they're making, because anything to them is a win. And maybe their overhead isn't high. Maybe they don't care about making certain margins. But somebody like me that's got overhead and got labor hours that we got to pay for, somebody like me, that affects it firsthand. So I was really lucky to sell these brush heads to one person, because what that also does is it helps me out with my shipping costs. So if you think, what does that mean? All right, well, this is a big item, 1976, almost 4 pounds. $10.94 is what it's going to cost to ship it. But if you think about it, let's say I sold one. If I sold one, I still got to pay a shipping on this, and you know, it could be $8. Well, I got two in one box for 10, so technically I'm at like I'm under $5.50 per item shipped. And that's how you make money. That's because you're not paying the shipping that you would pay on every one of them. So multiple orders are the best for us. It's the best way of not with the free shipping, not losing as much. So I like them a lot when they come in like that. All right, so this has got a little mark on it. I don't know if this was talked about in the listing. So what I'm going to do is just take a microfiber and just kind of just wipe it. It's like a little scuff. Okay, so hopefully it's just a little mark. I mean, there are pictures everywhere in there. I'm not going to go back and look at all. I'm not going to make a big deal over that. I'm just going to try to just clean it up a little bit. They are new with the tags. No wear on them. So technically it was described as without box, new. It's got a little scuff on it. But again, it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta ship it out, and hopefully nothing happens where somebody gets it and they make a big deal out of it just because, you know. For me, I'm not gonna make a big deal out of a pair of shoes with a scuff on it unless I'm buying something collectible, and I'm not really a shoe collector. So to me, it's not a big deal, and I don't understand the people that have to make a big deal out of everything in life with like purchasing stuff second party, which would be like a reseller like me. The way I look at it is eBay is really a gift to whoever uses it, because you're not paying retail for anything. You're getting things that you normally couldn't get at a store sometimes. Maybe like maybe something that sells out, and then maybe it's a pair of shoes that are discontinued that you know that work really well with your situation. So if people would think about it like that, like resellers are offering a really good service to their customers by selling on eBay like that, we're basically giving our customers a good price, and you're supporting a small business. And think about all the other people you're supporting that work for that small business. I mean, we have employees, we have kids that are in school, we have adults that have kids. We employ other employees that have different things going on in their life, and my store gives people a lot of scheduling, basically where they can make their own scheduling. So you're supporting a good cause when you buy from me. Okay, so 1.1, got 13, got 10, got 6. 13, 10, 6. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I mean, $767. It's a $42 order, $42.21. And these are like the shoes that you can just slip on without having to. You can just put your foot right into them. So they got a good deal. All right, we got one of these guys here. So I know that these rattle in there. I don't like rattle. I'm gonna take a little bit of paper and just kind of stuff it in there. This packaging is pretty good for the item. It's kind of hovering in there. There's a little bit of dirt, so I'm just gonna wipe that down. I do put care into my packages, guys. I don't just slam bam and ship it out without making sure that somebody's gonna receive it in the way that they bought it. See how I'm just putting all this in Mylars, guys, compared to the ones that you got to build your own box. My recommendation is, if you're starting off eBay, sell the stuff that you have laying around so you get familiar with the platform. And then when you're selling items after that, when you start thinking about your sourcing, think about these boxes that are, think about these items that are small. Think about, how are you going to ship them out? Are you going to buy boxes? You're going to recycle boxes? I mean, we recycle boxes, but a lot of people do buy boxes, you know, the to ship their items. They want clean, they want nice, they want it to look professional. I prefer not spending money on things like that when there's always something else that the money has to go to. So I try not to add, you know, the Mylars are an expense, but they're not a huge expense. It's pennies. I think that we sometimes pay anywhere from 17 cents to maybe a quarter a piece for these Mylar bags. So we're not spending a lot. Okay, so this one's going to Oregon. I think this guy already bought one from me before. He might have just bought it, and then now he figured he wants another one. Yeah, so $24.91 is the order value. Shipping is $10.16. So hopefully this guy doesn't keep on buying single guys from me, because I do have another one. Okay, so that was $10.16. Let me pack up this other one and see what I paid for shipping on this one, so you can see a difference, because I do have an order that has two of them. So $10.16, and granted that was Oregon, but let me just show you real time when you get one scenario versus another. What's the difference? What's the difference between selling one item to a seller or two with shipping? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together like this, and I'm just going to tape it together just to keep it solid. Okay, then this is going to go into a Mylar. I know it won't fit in the medium one, so it's going to have to go right to the large. Okay. And some would say, why are you not pulling the sticky? Why are you putting tape instead? Well, if you've done enough shipping, you'll know that static is not your friend with these little pieces of plastic. For a while, I had a big roll on a box, and basically every time I ripped one of those things, I would stick it on there. But if you don't, what happens is they stick everywhere, and they static cling everything. So, you know, when you have to like get a piece of plastic off you know, 20 times while you're shipping, you kind of learn, why am I putting myself through that? Why am I getting aggravated over a piece of plastic that won't like, you know, get off me? So basically now I don't do that anymore. I got tired of it. So all right, so we got 315. 3.15. Oh, so okay, so I got to combine these. So I got to take that one. Oh, wait a second. This person actually bought 3 of them. All right, well, it looked like they had 2, so whatever. All right, so I'm going to get a packing label. So even better. So now we have 3 that we're shipping out. So what do I do then? Well, I wrap this with a Mylar and I tape it to the other ones. Problem solved. You just gotta know what's going on. You know, you can't just be like oblivious to your item selling. You gotta know. You gotta pay attention to items, like items, usernames. Sometimes users buy multiple things from you, multiple different things from you. So what you got to do is you got to know how to like cancel labels if that's the case. Everything needs to go into one package. You combine it. They have a spot for it where the labels are. You can just combine the item. And the more items somebody buys, the better. Shipping always works in your favor. So in this situation, we're going to go like this. We're going to take this. We're going to grab that. Wait, what happened there? Okay, so this is the wrong size. That's a different size package. What's going on here? Okay, so we got a situation here. Now I got a variance in the size box. My guess is the packaging switched, and that's why it got liquidated. But this says 5,200 feet, so this one is safe from having to open up and research it more to make sure that I packaged up the right one. I'm pretty sure that these are the same item, just one of the packages slimmer. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to ship off like that with 2 different size boxes for the same item. I don't want to confuse the customer, so I'm just going to take an extra minute and just do it right. We're going to pack this item up, tape it together, and move on. Now, since this one's going to be squeezed against another one, I don't really have to make one side of it perfect. I can just stick that on the other side. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and tape everything together like I normally would. And then I'm going to throw a couple more pieces on here. Oh, you're not going to believe that. Okay, I'm going to go over this that just happened because this is kind of, it's early, guys. So here, let me bring this one back. All right. I originally thought this was too small. Right? See? That's what told me, hey, go grab another one. But it's actually like this. So I could have just went by with this one. But this is what happens. So just disregard everything I said about packaging being different and all that, because it wasn't. But that's some good entertainment. All right, so we're going to do something like this. You know, in an ideal situation, all this stuff would be pre-packaged up, and all I got to do is slap a label on it. Okay, so that's that. All right, so we got 3 of these. So 5.15. I'm going to throw some of these on here. Just to see if I can get a little bit of care taken. So 515. All right, so let's go back. Let's get these labels. We're going to combine. Okay, so I got 5, 15. We have 17, 11, 6. 17, 11, 6. All right, so the other one was like 10 something. Check this out, $10.30 for 3 of them. So we will roll with that. And granted, it could have been, you know, it wasn't going to Oregon, but still. Could you imagine if I wouldn't have caught that and if I would have had to pay shipping for this one by itself and those 2 by itself? It makes sense to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, I don't understand why this is doing this. It wouldn't just go right to the label, so I had to go through another step. All right, so we're going to slap this guy on here. This was actually going to Texas, which is not as far, but it could have been a pricey ship. All right, so we're going to go back. Okay. Just going to check something real quick here. Okay, so we got a couple items left. Why don't we just go into numbers right now? Because I don't want to have a really long videos. I think we're already at like 45 minutes. So let's get over here. Let me just show you some numbers. Okay, so I got seller dashboard, marketing. All right, so last sale that I had last weekend, it ended on the 20th. I ended up with let's see, there was actually 3 sales that I ran. So it looks like 2680, 36, 37, like 3730 for that one. And then this one ended yesterday, and that's 1500. Yeah, so this one looks like this last week was less, and you can tell by, you know, right here. So 2358, 3305, 4484, 3526. So as you can see, the graph is going, we're going down. Not very helpful. And including in this, we're also having problems with canceled orders. So we were at 3 before last weekend. Now we're at 9. I had to cancel 9 total transactions in this evaluation period. So the next time it's going to be August 20th. We're above standard right now if we can't get our stuff together. Right now we are top rated. So yeah, look, three transactions. Then it went to 9. So we have problems with the items not being either in the right spot, or items being damaged or not the right size. So that's that. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna wrap up the video. So I'll talk to you guys later. We'll make another video probably tomorrow. I'm gonna go into, we're gonna get some numbers together on a spreadsheet with a graph to show maybe even back to the beginning of the business, and show you guys like how the journey went and how we're at right now. Right now everything's not really doing so well, so we're trying to get sales going. So we'll have to discount some stuff on the sales floor. We'll maybe have to mess with the eBay sale and give a better discount just to get some more sales. But we're going to talk about some things, you know, where everything was going and now where it's at in the next video. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.